Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, the 25th of August, 2025. Welcome to everyone waiting patiently in the chat. It finally happened. It finally happened after over 2 years of doing morning brews. I actually slept in. Turned my alarm off. The kids aren't here. It's the school holidays. It's a bank holiday, so Kat didn't wake up and didn't even go to bed late. I've been out partying the night before and still woke up in time to prep for the show and get streaming at about 9 o'clock. So, there's a first time for everything. This is my first late morning brew because I literally woke up, looked at the clock, and it's on Kat's side of the bed. Didn't have my glasses on, so I put my glasses on. I'm like squinting to try and see what it says. It says 900 0900. I'm like, shit. Scramble. Not scrambled eggs. No time for that. Quickly make myself a coffee, have a shower, get dressed, put the show stuff up, get down here, get the lights, get the computer on. Ta-da! Took me 18 minutes. That wasn't too bad. I was aiming 15 minutes, but that was possibly slightly unrealistic. So next time I'll know if I do this again, I'll put it on for like 9:20, and I'll definitely make it in time. Oh, he was on time. Must have been some really good reason why he was late coming on. But no, I literally just woke up at 9 o'clock. I didn't set my alarm like I normally do. I normally have it on my phone. I turned it off because I was in Liverpool and my schedule was a bit different. And I forgot to correct it. Never mind. Viper Scott says, no worries, Graham. We've all been there. Honestly, mate, I think I've done quite well, to be honest with you, since this is the first time this has happened. I have been late getting started before, obviously, clearly, but it's usually a technical problem. It's usually like, I don't know, my microphone's not working, or I can't find my thing to stick in my ear, or I can't, whatever it is. It's usually like, I'm sitting down here at 9 o'clock, and I'm like, about to press live, and it goes, and I get like the blue screen of death or something. I got to reset the computer. This time, nope, all on me. And as a consequence, I haven't prepped. So this is going to be an unprepped morning brew. So I don't really know what I'm going to talk about because I haven't even looked at the news yet. So what we're going to do, right? First of all, I'm going to say hello to everyone in the chat. Going to go through your messages. Then I'm going to go into the newspapers straight away. I'm not going to even wait. I'm not even going to wait. I'm going to go straight into the newspapers to read them. And while I'm doing that, if there's anything that you want to talk about, you put it in the chat, and I'll, if you put at Graham Politics, so I'm more likely to see if you got a message from me, because I keep doing this thing where I read people's messages, and it's actually a message to somebody else in the chat. It's not actually a message that they want me to read out, and I'm like, halfway through, I kind of realize and go, oh, should have read that before reading it. Anyway, lots of people saying in the chat, Graham, it's bank holiday, so we can't let you off. We can't let you off. Sorry, Sarah. You're allowed to have a lie-in once a year, says Chrissy. Well, yes. It wasn't even a lie. It was just literally waking up. A lie-in is when you wake up, isn't it? And then you stay in bed for a good long time, which is always nice to do. But when you do a morning show at 9 o'clock and you've got kids usually running around, the concept of a lion is a little bit alien. Hayton Pud says Trump deploying more National Guards will probably come up. And then after all this, I've just heard the door. There's a knock on the door. No, it's someone with a clipboard. You can go away. Hang on. No, they might be delivering something. Okay, just 1 second. I'm going to go and answer the freaking door. It never ends. All right. Oh, bloody. Why are you interrupting my show? Okay, I'm just going to put this up for a moment, and then I'll be back. Oh, I'm back. Right. Oh, God, fuck my life. Right, okay, so there's delivery at the door. He's knocking on the window. He's knocking on the fucking window. Normally I'd just be like, ignore them and just let them leave it outside or something, but he was banging on the window. Jesus. Anyway. Excellent. Graham flying by the fire. Excellent. Graham flying by the seat of his pants show, says Viper Scott. Yes, it is. Flying by the seat of my pants, the pants of my seat. Okay, so first of all, we have got a woman from the family up the road, number 42 in it, who she's dyed her hair. But then there's another picture where it just looks brown. Maybe it's just the light. Maybe it's just the way the light is catching her hair. Makes it look a bit blonde. I don't know. Woman dyes hair. Mother of three dyes hair. Wow, I'm glad they took up half of the front of the Daily Express. I wonder why these newspapers are dying a death. I wonder why no one reads these newspapers anymore. I can't work it out. Anyway, here's a woman. She's dyed her hair. Woo! Woo, woo, woo. Smuggler. Small boat crisis is Labour's fault. Albanian who brought in migrants says the government could stop crossings tomorrow. Yes, he's right. They could. Well, not tomorrow. But they could stop it rather quickly if we got a deal with France and a processing centre set up in Calais. Seems the way to do it. Do that. Put all your attention on that. Spend all your money on that. The iPaper here, they've got the Channel migrants first for fast track asylum hearings as Cooper moves to close hotels. Hang on, we got a super chat in. We got a super chat from George. Thank you. A believer replied this to me. Sent 50 a plus replied. George only. Why should the poor who contribute so little have a say in anything? Wow. Wow. Thank you for the super chat. That is possibly the most stupid, selfish, narcissistic, psychopathic thing I've ever heard. That is something that you'd expect to come out of Jacob Rees-Mogg's disgusting, malformed mouth. Wow. That is something. That is quite something, George. When you say a believer, what do you mean a believer in what? I don't think he was a believer in Christianity, right? It wasn't like a Christian believer, because surely that would go against the teaching of Jesus. One would think. I think we should start a new religion. Gay Jesus. What do you reckon? We're the Church of the Gay Jesus. Right, and we follow all the nice things that Jesus said, and we just ignore all the naff things he said. And we don't pretend that he's the Son of God. We just, think he was a really nice guy who was like in his early 30s and not married in 2,000 years ago. And he hung out with sailors and prostitutes. Hashtag just saying. We'll make loads of money. Ooh, Viper Scott, thank you very much. Alistair. Alistair's throwing some money in as well. Thank you. Oh, I'll have to be late more often. No, I'm joking. I won't. Was that an anti-fash protest to counter a fash one at the weekend? Lots of English voices, hardly any Scottish ones on fash side. Usual suspects. Yep. Well, that's the thing. Like in Britain, if the posh fash just sound like everyone on TV. Whereas in Scotland, the posh fash sound English, so you can spot them a mile away. Unfortunately, in England, you've basically got a regional accent, or you sound like you went to private school. And the vast majority of the people that you see on TV sound like they went to private school, because they did. Anyway, back to the papers. Channel migrants first for fast track asylum hearings as Cooper moves to close hotels. Good, fast track it. That's great. Jack Grealish there for Everton, lighting up Everton's new stadium, where the Hill Dickinson Stadium on the Dock Road, where they he didn't score, by the way. This is interesting because he's on the front cover there. He didn't score. He assisted. He got 2 assists. But they won 2-0 against Brighton and Hove Albion. And do you know what? If they hadn't won, it would have been so freaking embarrassing. Like, I'm so glad it was against Brighton and not against someone good for their first match in the first Premier League match in their new stadium. Because I think all the matches they've had up to this point, they've lost. Although they played Accrington Stanley. Did they play Accrington Stanley for a laugh? I think they lost that as well. But yeah, they weren't doing so well because, Everton. But they've signed Jack Grealish, who's been sitting on the bench on some other club for a while. And now he's turned up and he's kicking balls towards us, which is nice. Which is nice if you're an Evertonian, which I am. So, started off, we lost our first game. But we started off our life in our new stadium as we mean to hopefully go on. Winning matches. It usually helps if you're a Premier League football club with a brand new stadium that you need to pay the mortgage on. Right, so here we go. What else have we got down here? We've got 1066 and all that. And what adopted parents should know. Okay, cool. And then we'll scroll down a little bit. MPs report... Oh, God, that's fuzzy. That's not... Oh, my God, that's hurting my eyes. Stop it. Okay, I'm just going to zoom out because that is... It's not in focus. Oh, my God, it's still not in focus. Oh my God, that's horrible. Okay, MPs report sharp rise in online abuse over immigration debate. That's on the front cover of the Guardian there. And then we've got the Daily Mail. Might be my eyes. Oh, it won't let me kiss. It won't let me. Oh, it's my eyes. It looks out of focus. No, it is. It is out of focus. That is out of focus. Can someone tell me that that's out of focus? Because on my screen I can see the morning brew logo with the little animated steam coming from it. I can see that, and that's perfectly clear. That looks out of focus to me. This is not helpful when I've just woken up and my eyes are full of sleep. Why are you giving me out of focus stuff on the internet? Anyway, Andrew facing bombshell in new Epstein book. This is a book written by Virginia Guthrie. And I hope I'm saying that right. And it's going to come out. It's going to come out just mere months after she left us, unfortunately. But yes, annoying. I hope this could be potentially devastating for the royal family, which is awesome. It's just very funny how all the people involved in Epstein and Prince Andrew and all those clanging bastards seem to get away with it. Maybe that's what we should talk about this morning. Them getting away with it. All these bastards just getting away with absolute fucking murder and nobody stopping them. I'll give a few examples in a bit. Let's go through the papers first. Sorry, it's out of focus. It is out of focus. It's not just my eyes. MPs report sharp rise in online abuse over immigration debate. Yes, there absolutely is, and it's being pushed by grassroots groups across the country, which are being paid quite possibly by the far right. And by Farage and by, other people like him, like Aaron Banks, and Richard Tice, Andy Wigmore, all these posh motherfuckers who went to posh schools, lead posh lives, drink wine, and just don't give a fuck about anyone but themselves, and they're just there to feather their own nest. And the best way to do that is to, rile up the lower orders, as they will call us. And they do a very good job of it, and no one holds them to account, and they get away with it all the fucking time. Anyway, we've got a lovely picture there from the Notting Hill Carnival. And then we've got ministers to scrap most short prison sentences. Head back here. So back over to the Daily Mail. They've got a picture of Kate. Sun-kissed new look. I think that's just a normal hair colour. I think the sun's just on it. I think it's just a trick of the light, but whatever. I mean, the other side's not blonde, is it? That's not blonde. It's just this bit's blonde. So I don't, whatever. But she's done her hair or something. First for football, Jack Grealish stars for Everton at new stadium. This is out of focus as well. Fuck me. Kid, is that? No, that's not saying kid. That's a kid at the Notting Hill Carnival. Pressure grows for PM to get a grip on asylum claims. Okay, and then we've got the Star, which is actually in focus. So well done, the Star, for being a high enough resolution for us to deal with. Hotter than Morocco, second warmest August holiday for 60 years. Maybe we should talk about this. Maybe we should talk about the way this bullshit is reported in the news. Like in the BBC, it's like, Britain's got a sizzle on Bank Holiday Monday. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't a good thing. Stop celebrating it. Stop saying like it's a good thing. Because there's a lot of people who live in their own fucking reality. They live in their own reality where facts don't matter and they do not believe that climate change is real. You've got people like Farage who do know that climate change is real and pretend that they don't. But then you've got people who are serious morons who go along with it and go, yeah, I don't believe any scientists. I just believe this charismatic politician because thinking makes my head hurt. Anyway, so here we go. We've got another picture of the woman. I've forgotten her name. Megan. Is it Megan? What is it? Camilla? No, Diana. Something like that. I don't know. Some posh name. Anyway, Royal Scandal exclusive here. Whitewash. Victims of Epstein slam Maxwell's lies, and Andrew's late accuser book shock. And Jeffrey Epstein's victims have branded Ghislaine Maxwell's tape on the pervert a whitewash, which of course it was because she wants a nicer cell to go to. United Front. Carney shows Kyiv solidarity. Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, lays flowers as a memorial to fallen Ukrainian soldiers in Kyiv yesterday on the Independence Day for Ukraine, the 24th of August. So next up, we've got private equity firms offer cascade of discounts in scramble to raise money, profitability crisis, battle to sell aging assets, new players, crowd market, tariffs hit deal making. So there you go. Tariffs hitting deal making. So private equity firms are losing out. That's possibly a good thing. I don't know. Well done, Trump, for bankrupting your old buddies that lent you all that money to do all the shit that you've done. Farmers complain Australian imports taking prime cut of British beef market. Oh, really? Really, British farmers? You're going to complain about this now? I'm sorry. But didn't you say that life goes better with a little bit of razzmatazz? Didn't you? You said, let's vote for Brexit. And we said, no, that's going to fuck you. And you went, no, we want it. We're told that we want it by Nigel Farage, and he's our guy. And we're going to put up little pictures in our little posters, things in our fields saying, vote Leave. We'll do that everywhere. Yeah. I mean, I know not every farmer voted for Brexit. I personally know farmers who didn't vote for Brexit quite well, actually. But the majority did. The majority did vote for Brexit and pushed other people to vote for Brexit by putting signs in their fields telling people to vote for Brexit. And we had a deal that was scribbled on the back of a bit of bog paper in the toilet by Boris Johnson when he had some representative come round, some gobshites from Australia, from I think the Liberal government, was it? Oh, one of the gobshites. I've forgotten his name now. He's a gobshite anyway. Alexander Downing? Is that the gobshite's name? I can't remember. Anyway, he felt bad that Britain had abandoned its former holdings around the world in 1973 when we joined the European Economic Community, and he felt so bad about it that he sold out our British farmers and made it so that they could import thousands of tons of beef into Britain rent-free and tariff-free. Remember tariffs? Yeah, they were a thing that was big in the news. At one point, I'm sure. Tariff-free access for Australian beef coming to Britain. And how much beef could we sell to Australia? To Australia! How much beef were we allowed to sell? Come on, say it with me now. Come on, let's say it. Yep, that's right. Zero. Not a soggy brisket. Not even a single leftover hamburger. Nothing. We could sell nothing to them, and they could sell loads of shit to us. We did a deal. This is what happens when you put people who are rich, spoiled, rich little twats in charge of things because it's never their money. They don't care. They've never had their money on the line and had to make a decision like that when it was their money. It's always someone else's money. These motherfuckers like Johnson, Farage, Trump, and Orban, and Erdogan, and Bolsonaro, and Duterte, they're all the same. They are people who turn up at the casino with someone else's money and gamble it all away and then make out that they are actually the victim. And do you know what? People believe them. Unbelievable. Right. Oh, Judge Only. Thank you very much for the £20 super chat. That's very kind of you. He continued, because their wealth is productive. Sure, they have assets sitting around, but the assets they have keep the world moving. You have no idea how much you already depend on the rich. No, if an asset is a house and it sits there unsold for 25 years, that is not money moving. I know you agree with this, George, and I'm not saying this against you. I'm saying against the person you were talking this absolute fucking rot. The rich hoarding wealth is the worst thing that can possibly happen to an economy. There's a few reasons for this, but like, first of all, let's just say about austerity is awful for the economy because money is made when money moves. If money just stays in one place, no money is being made. And the other thing about the rich is there's not that many of them, right? And so you could be a billionaire. So there's 187 billionaires or something in this country, right? They could only eat 187 fucking meals in an evening, you know? Maybe some fat bastards could have a bit more than that. But like, generally speaking, they can go to one restaurant and spend the money. And yeah, they might spend £1,000 in that restaurant. But when you've got 1,000 people who can't afford to go out and eat at a restaurant, the restaurants fucking fail because the rich person isn't going to spend the same amount as all the other people and be at that restaurant every night of the year. And if they are at their favourite restaurant, they might keep that afloat, but that's to the detriment of all the other restaurants in the area that they are not attending. This is the thing. They will only be able to drive one car at a time. I know some dickheads have like massive car collections, like they're fucking Scalextrics or something. But you know, they generally speaking, they drive one car at a time. You can't drive two cars at the same time. And yeah, so this idea that this trickle down mentality of, oh no, the rich are helping us really by being rich. They are not. People were so much better off. So much better off when we had a system that taxed the rich properly. We had a tax system that went up to 95% in this country. That's why in Taxman by the Beatles, he literally says, this is the way it's going to be. 1 for you, 19 for me. 95%. Bit of mathematics there in a Beatles song, whinging about how much tax they had to pay. But that was fair enough, because at the time, the Beatles were the most profitable beings in existence, pretty much, aside from maybe Elvis, and I don't think he got that good a deal because it was all taken by Colonel Parker, wasn't it? So yeah, let's just say the Beatles. I think the Kinks wrote a song whinging about the taxman, didn't they? Taxman's taken all me dough, left me in me stately home. Yeah, good. Tax them till the pips squeak. And it's really, really easy for people who are rich to put stupid ideas in people. Well, I don't say stupid, but like toxic ideas in people's heads. Like, oh, I don't agree with inheritance tax because my kids might have to pay. No, they won't. They absolutely will not have to pay inheritance tax. If your kids are going to have to pay inheritance tax, right, you have no worries, right? Because here's the thing. The first million that you inherit, a million, could you imagine £1 million fucking pounds? You know, I was thinking about this, like short films that I used to make when I was in Liverpool, 15, 20 years ago. I'd make them with my mates in an afternoon, and they were really good. I mean, they were like amazing, but they were pretty fucking good. We made them for like, I don't know, a Mars bar and half a pack of fucking square crisps. And I was just thinking, like, imagine what you could do with $1 million. Imagine what you could do with £1 million, the amount of stuff that you could do to like create stuff and make things. And that's your rent paid, isn't it? That's your rent paid for the next, I don't know, 20 years or something. That's pretty good, isn't it? It's pretty good. You know, you don't have to worry about, your mortgage or whatever. But yeah, £1 million, tax-free. And people are like, no, it's not enough. And then you have to pay. Then you have to pay tax. And that's for most normal people. And I know that it's a bit different if you're getting assets, if you're getting a fucking Rembrandt painting or something. But if you've got a family home and your mum and dad live in it, when they pass on, they can pass on up to £1 million. So that'll be the house, everything in it, extensions, whatever, furniture, whatever. It's unlikely to come to £1 million and all. And if it does, great, sell the fucking house. Sell the fucking house. Get £1 million. You're clearly not living with... downgrade, if you have to. I just find this whole idea that we can't tax the rich. We can't possibly tax the rich. Why not? Because of the wonderful things they do. No one's ever got a really good answer for this. They lie, they cheat, they scheme. They say, oh, but if you tax rich people, they'll leave, they'll go to another country. Fine. Tax their assets, and if they leave the fucking country, see you later. The government, the state takes their assets. And this is something that I've mentioned a few times, and no one else seems to mention, take away their embassy rights. That is it. You know, they can keep their British passport. That's fine. They can go and get stamped into other places. But when the shit hits the fan in Dubai, because they're caught drinking on the streets or having sex with a woman who they're not married to, or like, I don't know, Richard Tyson is his gruesome bride to be, they're not married, are they? They're living in Dubai. Are they living in sin? I don't know. Maybe someone should report them to the authorities. But the big one in Dubai is if you get declared bankrupt, because they have no bankruptcy law, so you can't be declared bankrupt in Dubai. If you owe someone £1 million, there is no reordering of their fucking assets and their creditors and the blah, blah, blah. No, there's no legal protection at all. You go to fucking jail, mate. That is it. That is the rule in Dubai. If you are bankrupt, you go to jail. If you cannot pay your debts, you go to fucking jail. And then you get out and you still owe the money. They don't write it off for you, mate. No writing off you. No declaring bankruptcy and not being a director of a company for a few years. No. Unbelievable. One Angry Pagan. Oh my God. Cancer research set back years as visa fees drive scientists away from the UK, as reported in the Observer. Jesus Christ. That is fucking unfucking-leavable. Is it unbelievable? Sorry, I'm just typing something because I need to get this in. Okay. Good. Lee Corn swooped in while I was googling that thing. £10 super chat. Thank you. Morning from La Belle France. I had my ADHD assessment on Wednesday while sat in my car on the driveway of Marcus Allshort's house. Very surreal, but confirmed that I am indeed ADHD AF. Woo! Yes! Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club, my friends. How you doing? Say hello. Say hello to Marcus for me. I've not seen Marcus in real life for a few years, so give him a big hug. Give him a big hug from me. Lost Missionary says, our local Greg's, I can't fault the staff, are awesome, and it looks as clean as a new pin. I don't eat the stuff, though, but it's cheapish coffee. What? Oh, Greg's. Oh, eating coffee. Okay. I thought you were talking about eating coffee. So let's have a look at this article that One Angry Pagan's put us on about cancer research. So Britain's pricing out the very scientists that could help cure cancer. Countries like France and Australia, South Korea, they charge a fraction for visas, while the UK charges an absolute fucking fortune for talented people to come here and research cancer. And cancer research has been delayed for years because scientists, because of Brexit, because of the government, cannot afford to live here. They can't afford to move here. Visa costs have risen 129% since 2019. A skilled worker visa is, get this, £6,694 for 5 years. A global talent visa is £5,941 for 5 years. For a family of 4, do the maths, that's £20,000 up front to come and study here. So the Cancer Research UK's UK immigration bill, trying to get people from other countries to come here, their bill in 2022-23 was £477,244, and that's almost double to £872,044. That is fucking crazy in 2024-25. That money could train 40 PhD students. And this isn't abstract bureaucracy. These are real lab budgets that are being drained by the Home Office, by the government whose job it is to protect us. The government whose job it is to protect us against foreign invading armies, protect us from ignorance, protect us from lies on the internet. Wouldn't that be nice? To protect us from famine, to protect us from droughts, to protect us from disease, pandemics. This is something that the government should be protecting us from. Should be protecting us from violence. Should be protecting us from crime. Should be protecting us from, I don't know, massive fuck-off potholes in the road. All kinds of stuff that the government's job is there to do is to protect us. Ultimately, the government is there to protect our rights. But it doesn't even seem to do a very good job of that at the moment, especially if you are trans. So here we go. The government is stealing money from cancer research. Cancer research. Why? Because people be racist. We don't want people coming from other countries. Xenophobia is the order of the day, because these scumbags in charge and the scumbags around them, even the people who aren't in charge, like Farage, managed to just lie and cheat to the general population and get away with it. There was an interesting conversation with Carol Cadwalla, who's always an interesting person to listen in conversation to, and she was talking about the fact that in a normal election, I've stood for election, I've stood as an MP, I've stood as a councillor, I know the rules, and essentially any leaflet that you give out has to have an imprint on it, right? If you're a political party and you're spending more than, I think it's $5,000 or something, right? It has to have an imprint on it saying who printed that material, who paid for that material, and then that has to be registered and logged with the British Library and 5 other libraries around the is it the Bodleian in Oxford, Bodleian Library. That sounds about right. Or was that a museum? I don't know. Someone correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But there's about 5 of these. I think they're called copyright libraries that they're recorded. These leaflets are recorded, right? Right. So all those adverts that appeared on people's feeds during the Brexit fraudulendum, the ones that said the EU was killing the polar bears, the ones that said the EU is trying to take away your cups of tea. Do you remember those ads? Yeah. You might not have seen them because they were micro-targeted towards people who might actually fall for this shit. Understandably, because no one was telling them it wasn't true or it was wrong, not least the then leaders of the Conservative or Labour Party. And those were never catalogued. The British government demanded that Facebook hand over those adverts so they could be stored, printed out, put in a fucking file somewhere for all to see for all eternity. And they didn't. They didn't do that. That was a thing they didn't do. They didn't do that thing that they were supposed to do. In fact, Facebook just deleted those adverts off its server. So we can't even, researchers of the future can't even look back to what happened during the fraudulendum. And that is really, really telling. That is really telling at how the rich manipulate social media so amazingly well, and the governments, I mean, whether it's the Tories or now Labour, just haven't got a fucking clue, and it winds me the fuck up. I mean, I get wound up about a lot of things going on in the world right now, not least of these people putting the butcher's apron on everyone's fucking lamppost for some reason, because, we're in Britain. I mean, it's a little bit special, isn't it? Isn't it? It's a little bit like, I might forget, what country I'm in, and so I'll put this flag up here outside my house, and then I'll remember. I'll walk out and I'll see the flag, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I come from Britain. I'm in Britain. I've been teleported to some other country and or planet. Just what? Or it's like people who have the names of their kids on their arms. And you just know, they tattoo the names of their children on their arms. And you just know that so when the kids are playing up, they go, oi, 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 Jasmine, shut up. Oi, oi. Oi, Bobby. That's your name. Like crib sheets, in case you forget your kids' names. Which is easy to do, I suppose. When all kids look the same. Direct impact on cancer research. Let's talk about this. So in Scotland, an immunotherapy project using T cells have been mothballed. It could have led to new bowel cancer treatments, which is one that's quite personal to us, our gang here at Morning Brew, after our friend Mike Dix had a horrific experience getting that cancer out of him. But they did get that cancer out of him. Not quite how Wayne suggested, but almost how Wayne suggested they do it, and they got it out of him, which was good. But, there was a project using T cells, and that's been mothballed now. In Manchester, a liquid biopsy study, which is for early lung cancer detection, has been delayed for 6 months, or at least 6 months, after a top scientist rejected the job. 12 job offers turned down in 2024 alone. And in Cambridge, bioinformatics expert, which is DNA sequencing analysis. Refused to post despite top salary because of visa fees. And the consequence in this is lost years. And lost years in cancer research means lost lives. Simple as that. We're on a fight against cancer. It's ongoing. And there are so many different types of cancer. Every part of your body, every organ in your body can get cancer. And there's different types of cancer it can get. And we're on a war. We're on a war against all these different types of cancer. And it is very, very, very difficult. It's very top edge science looking into this stuff. And it's absolutely necessary. And people are dying. People are dying because of Brexit, because of xenophobia. And don't forget, if you were from Europe, if you were from any other country in Europe, apart from Ireland, back 10 years ago, you could just move here for nothing. You didn't even have to ask anyone's permission. You and your entire family could move and live here in Britain and improve things immeasurably for the British people. I mean, make it so that there's not so many people die of cancer. And yet we slammed the door shut on that because the morons demanded it. And now the morons are cheering. The morons are like, yeah, we're dying earlier than we should be. Which I don't think is a good thing. They obviously, all the Brexiters, obviously they think it's a great thing. You know, maybe they don't want their parents hanging around too long, you know. They don't like them. Maybe they don't get on with their own children, you know. Maybe they don't like their partners. Yeah. I don't know. Some people are different, I guess. I suppose that's one way of committing murder without actually having to go through with the actual murder side of things. Anyway, so really grim stories. There was a story in the Observer article about Dr. Ed Roberts from Cancer Research UK, Scotland, who tried to hire a senior officer from Hong Kong, and the candidate declined, saying it doesn't make sense to me, my family, and the result of which was that the project that they were working on was delayed by 2 years. And in the bioinformatics case, every lab wants one, but supply can't keep up. We had an outstanding candidate, but he couldn't afford the visa. These aren't hypotheticals. These are missed cures, delayed breakthroughs. Patients who might have been saved are going to die in the next few years as a direct result of Brexit and of xenophobia, of racism. There's going to be some people who voted for Brexit who are literally going to die of Brexit. This has already happened in many different cases. But yeah, Brexit is something that, it's a shit that just keeps on shitting. And the UK immigration policy is mental. Like, the government want to cut immigration. They want to cut it. And, the white paper on immigration, visa fees are part of a deterrence strategy. They want to cut immigration and stop people from applying for visas by making it too expensive to apply for visas. And the majority of Brits support migration policies targeting low-skilled migration, but only 11% oppose migration to fill highly skilled shortages. Yeah, but here's the thing, morons, right? Hey, morons of Britain, wake the fuck up. Hey, you can't have the scientist, right, without the scientist's family. Okay, most scientists who have got to that level, they have a PhD. The earliest you can realistically get a PhD, I guess, is about 25 yees old. By then, a lot of people have picked a partner. Maybe they're thinking of starting a family. And if they've worked in the field for a few years, they'll be in their 30s. They'll be in their 30s with their PhD, working in the field. So they've got their academic qualifications. They've also got the experience of doing this stuff in a lab, in another country. And by then, yeah, they might have a couple of kids. And so when you say you don't want low-skilled people coming here, right, you're basically saying we want the person who is good at this shit to come on their own and leave their family behind, while they do things that better our nation, that make us live longer. And I think that the international community, quite rightly, looks at this offer and says, go fuck yourself, Britain, you stupid bastards. If you're going to say, oh, well, we're only going to lie at the top, but not their families, then, you're on a hiding for nothing. But that's the way I look at it. And if we hadn't pulled out the EU, we wouldn't be having this problem, because we would be able to get anyone we wanted from the EU, and they wouldn't have to pay any visa fees at all because we were part of the EU. And you know what? We could have gone to another country and done research over there. No visa fees at all. We wouldn't have to ask permission. We would not have to get a work permit. We have to get a work permit now because of Nigel fucking Farage. Nigel Farage did that to you. Did that to us. Nigel Farage going around giving people cancer and laughing when they die of it, possibly. I don't know. Never met him. Seems like something he might do, people are saying, allegedly. What a shitbag. What an absolute bag of shit. He doesn't care. He doesn't mind. Nigel Farage can go and live anywhere in the world. He's got the money. He's a multimillionaire. He's a Coutts Bank account holder. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice for him? Isn't that nice for his family? Not your family. Not you. So, even Reform voters, fucking flag shaggers, even they support exceptions for scientists, but they don't. They say that they do, but they've not really thought about it because they want these scientists to come over on their own. But it does show that this policy is just driven by ideology and not common sense. And, you know, you got the human cost here. That the UK is still apparently a home to world-leading science, says the government. They boast of a £54 million global talent fund as part of a £115 million science investment. But the reality is that £872,000 has been stripped from just one charity, Cancer Research UK, to pay for visa fees. So people are giving money to this charity to go, oh, I want to research cancer, and they're going, thanks for that money. Unfortunately, we have to give it to the government. Are you not going to spend that on researching cancer? Yes, we are paying it to research cancer, but the thing is, we've got to pay the Brexit tax. You see, the Brexit tax of £872,000. Brexit tax for Cancer Research UK. There you go. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, British government. Thanks for that, Brexit. And you've also got they're saying, oh, we'll put £54 million into a global talent fund. Yeah. Compare that to the billions with a B. You're comparing 54 million with the billions that have been lost in Brexit-related research cuts. Like, it's like turning up at a blazing fire with a thimble full of fucking water and going, I'm helping, throwing this little thimble of fucking water on the big fuck-off house fire. And there's just a brutal irony. They talk about global Britain, but they turn away the very people that will make Britain global leaders in anything. I mean, I could talk to you about other sectors that are having these same problems, but I mean, I think the cancer research sector is pretty fucking important to us personally. And Britain's life sciences sector is one of the few world-class industries we've got left post-Brexit. If we're losing scientists, that means we're losing investment, prestige, and breakthroughs. With the knock-on effect, it means slower innovation, as we talked about, patients denied cutting-edge technologies, and universities struggling to recruit, which we've seen all over the country. And this risks the brain drain, doesn't it? The smartest people just don't want to come here anymore, and the smartest people who were born here don't want to stay here because they can do better research, further research in other countries. And at the time, we could be welcoming researchers from America with open arms. We could be saying, look, we'll pay you. We will pay you to fly over here. We will buy you a fucking house. Do you know why? Because buying that researcher a house in the UK will, in the long term, be cheaper than people dying at an early age of a cancer that could have been prevented had we done enough research into the prevention of that, or cured if we had done enough research into the curing of that particular cancer. It will all work out in the wash. If you've got a highly skilled, highly talented person, I am quite prepared for the government to spend money on getting them over here and making sure they have a nice life with their family in this country and they continue doing their research. What it boils down to is this arrogance of the dickheads, right? The Dunning-Kruger effect. How are you going to bring the Dunning-Kruger effect into this, Graham? I hear you ask. Well, I'll tell you. It is this idea that no matter how incapable you are capable at something. And this is a trait that is shared between the some of the dickheads in the lowest rungs of society, but also the dickheads at the highest rungs in society. In fact, it's just dickheads across society in general. It's people like Matt Hancock who think they can run a health department during a pandemic and end up just killing everyone instead. That level of incompetence but arrogance that they can do it. I alone can fix this. Trump has it. Boris Johnson has it. But also, people who are proper dickheads have it as well. They are, full on Dunning-Kruger effect. I can do it. I can do this. I can do this. And what a knock-on effect of that is, they look at something like being a musician, being a filmmaker, being a scientist, being a physicist, being a chemist, and they look at that and they go, I could do that. These are people who can't even fucking tie their own shoelaces, but they think that they could be brain surgeons because they're that arrogant, and that arrogance is based in Dunning-Kruger, beyond any kind of Dunning-Kruger that we've known in the past. It is Dunning-Kruger on steroids. And they honestly believe that these scientists, it could be anyone. It could be anyone. And they don't see the value in human beings who have that expertise, who have that experience. And this is what society is going to collapse because of this. It's going to be, not because there's too many stupid people, but because people don't value people for their intelligence. They value them for their bling. They value them because of their gold teeth and their fucking golden toilets and their golden fucking eggs or whatever they fucking lay. And they don't appreciate the people who actually get things done. They just elect people who are talkers, who just blabble on about bullshit. And when they try to do something, they always fail. They always fuck it up. They always make it worse for everybody. And yet people continuously forgive them. Farage should not have come back from the disaster that is Brexit. He should not be threatening the British political system in any way right now. 9 years after the Brexit vote, which effectively ruined the economy of this country. He has made us all poorer, except himself. He has obviously feathered his own nest, the fuck. And he's doing rather well. He's doing very well. His kids are doing very well. They're fucking thriving with their German passports. They can live and work anywhere in Europe. Your kids can't. Your parents can't retire in Europe anymore, can they? Unless they've got an Irish passport. The rest of us, we're fucked. We are fucked. And Nigel Farage is there braying away, going, oh, I've put flags on everyone's lamppost to remind everyone which country they're in. Yeah, it's fucking weak. That is weak. That is something that weak countries do. Developing nations that aren't sure of themselves. Yeah, put a flag on every fucking lamppost. Make sure people know what country they're in. Fucking ridiculous. Pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. But yeah, this immigration policy has been, picked up from the Tories and continued with Labour, has been designed to appease Farage and, the refuck voters. The cost to ordinary Brits is their health. It's their future. And Brexit has already stripped us of EU science funding, and now Home Office stupidity, greed is piling on. Well, I haven't called it greed because they're not doing it to be greedy. I don't think they're doing it to discourage people from applying to come here. And they're doing a great job of it in that respect. I mean, they're not discouraging the boats coming over because they won't put a processing centre up in fucking Calais and have a deal with the French to take people back on the boats. They won't do that. They won't sort that problem out. So the only people that are actually deterring with the deterrence is these mad visa fees. Which is just, the hypocrisy of it all. And we can't call ourselves a world-class science superpower while sabotaging it for cheap political points. I don't think. And so we need to cut visa fees for critical jobs. Doctors, scientists, engineers. We need to stop tuition fees for engineers, for doctors. If you're doing medicine in university, no tuition fees. That's it. And put up the tuition fees for everybody else doing daft subjects like politics and modern history. Put the fucking fees up if you have to. That's the only way to keep the universities going. You can put the foreign fees up. Or take off the cap on foreign students learning at universities, the cap that was put on by the Tory government because they're fucking arseholes. So I've told you this before, but the Tory government, first of all, they said we're going to cap the tuition fees at $9,500 or whatever it was, and the university needed more money than that, and they weren't getting money from the government like they used to in the past. When I went to university, we didn't have tuition fees; the money was all paid for by central government for the education. They wouldn't give any extra money, and the university said, "Okay, well, we will attract students from all around the world, and they'll come here to our world-class universities, and they can pay extra because they're from other countries, and they can subsidise the British students, right?" Great plan, okay? And then the government went, because they include students in the migration figures, they said, they looked at this and they went, oh, hello. And they decided to cap the number of students that could come to university in this country. And the university's like, fuck. So yeah, double whammy. Because racism. Yay! One Angry Pagan. Thank you very much for the £2 super chat. The don't trust experts mantra was so fucking harmful. Yep, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And Sky Dragon, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Is Ireland safe from fascism to move? I am trans. I think it's safer than the UK is at the moment, which breaks my heart. This is my country, and I hate the fact that transphobes are running the roost at the moment, and these very, very well-funded transphobic groups like the LGB Alliance, which is based out of Tufton Street. I guess it calls itself a charity. The other places that operate out of Tufton Street call themselves charities. So they get a gift aid. I suppose they get gift aid from the taxpayer to be transphobic. But yeah, it's really dispiriting what is happening to trans people in this country, and I'm so sorry. I'm really fucking sorry. It upsets me and it boils my piss that trans people are not being accepted, that are being absolutely discriminated against in public now because of J.K. Rowling and their gruesome billionaire friends who decided one day 10 years ago that they needed a new enemy. Once we pulled out that EU. We need a new enemy to hate. We need a new group of people to demonize and blame all the ills of society on. And they decided they landed on trans people. But Ireland seems a lot more welcoming. If you are British, you can go and live in Ireland. You don't have to ask anyone's permission. You can just go and live there as long as you've got some form of income. They can't. I don't think they can deport you back to the UK. I don't think there's a deportation agreement, as a British citizen in Ireland and an Irish citizen in Britain are not regarded as aliens. Aliens as in the strictly legal sense of the word. It's a bit xenophobic, that word. But then again, xenophobic means fear of aliens. That's why a xenomorph is an alien in the franchise Alien. Anyway, but yeah, I'm getting off the subject. If you live in Ireland for 5 years, then you can apply for an Irish passport. And if you get your Irish passport, you will have EU citizenship, and then you can go and live anywhere. So if I was trans, I would be eyeing up Ireland. I've got friends who are trans who definitely are doing this. And with the plan to stay there for the next 5 years, I don't think Ireland's going to go mad transphobic in the next 5 years. Even if it does, then after 5 years, you'll be able to leave and go anywhere in Europe. You'll be able to go somewhere that is very trans-inclusive, which I wish Britain was. We used to be. Not that long ago, my friends, we used to be very, very pro-trans. And then we turned around one day and we went, nope, we don't like trans people anymore. Why? I don't know. They're taking over women's sports. Oh, you care about women's sports now, do you? Are you gonna watch any women's sports now? Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. The reason Audrey Geim, who won a Nobel Prize for graphene, chose to come here rather than the Netherlands was because we could offer his wife a job too. Yeah, graphene. Was that Manchester University? I mean, that is crazy. That graphene is absolute a game changer in terms of science and innovation, and it's like a new material. Is it a nanometer thick? Is that what it is? Cool. Talking of aliens, do you believe in them? Says Knock Bad Ok. I don't believe in them coming here. I don't believe in them putting on a pair of antennae and strutting up in front of some guy that's never going to be believed and making beep beep noises. I believe there is life on other planets, but the fact that at some point, I mean, if you stretch your arms out for life on Earth, basically all the way to the end of one thing, at the end of your longest finger, from like that end all the way across is bacteria. It's just single-celled amoeba and shit. And then suddenly we had the Cambrian explosion where just things started to, doing really cool stuff and things started emerging. I can see that happening on other planets. There's planets out there that are older than us. There's planets that are younger than us but might have different setups. There's lots of planets in the Goldilocks zone where it's not too hot, it's not too cold. A place that could have life. We've got a great setup here on Earth. We've got the moon, which acts as a little bit of a shield when we get big rocks thrown out from space. That absorbs a lot of the rocks. That's why it's covered in fucking craters. Whereas the planet Earth. So that was a bit lucky early on in Proto-Earth. We got smashed into by another planet, and that made a big gloop of our planet go off and become the moon. Yeah, I mean, we were just very, very fortunate in the way that our the way that our solar system is made up, the size of our planet, the temperatures that we have here. But let's not forget humans being intelligent and doing clever stuff has only been 10,000 years, which is a blink of an eye in the age of the universe, which is currently 13.7 billion years or something mad. Wow. So yeah, I think there were probably aliens out there and far away, but we're never going to meet them, and we're never going to communicate with them. So, because the time it takes to get fucking light to these places, never mind a message, is just astronomical. And yeah, I think it'd be very difficult to communicate over these vast different distances. And it's a bit sad. It's a bit sad because I grew up watching sci-fi movies and things like Star Trek, where they go to warp speed and visit new worlds. It's not going to happen. This is it. This is it. This planet is it. All right. So enjoy it. There's lots of cool things to see on this planet. There's over 800 UNESCO World Heritage sites. Go see them all. Go on. Go and see them. Go and see stuff. Go and do stuff on this planet instead of looking up at the stars and going, oh, if only I could live on a desolate asteroid in a spacesuit all day, pooping myself in a spacesuit. Or maybe I could go live on Mars and die very quickly of radiation poisoning. Yeah. Because it's got no magnetic. It doesn't have a molten core. Mars. It's quite a small planet. It doesn't have a molten core. So it's got no magnetic fields like what we do on our planet. And as a result of that, it means there's no aurora. There's no aurora borealis or australis. And yeah, you basically, all that solar wind is just going to smash into your body at 1,000,000 miles an hour. For Dunning-Kruger effect, think about the person down the pub who says, I could have been a contender 15 times a night. Yeah, Paula Thomas, absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And it's why I'll always go back to what was written, apparently, above the cave of the oracle in Delphi in ancient Greece. It said, know thyself. Know thyself. Know what you're good at, know what you're bad at, and shut the fuck up. Like, if you are not a professional footballer or a professional football manager, you are not going to do better than a professional footballer or a professional football manager. Armchair managers. Well, what he wants to do is this, he wants to do that. I'm like, well, yeah. Is there anything positive going on? It's a bit early to stomach the negativity of the world unaided. Yes, there's positive things going on. Let's have a look. Let's have a look if I can find some good news. Let's go to the good news bear. Is there a good news bear? Tell us the good news. Notting Hill was cool the weekend. I was at Fry's in Manchester on Saturday. That was fucking awesome. That was really good. Very trans inclusive, obviously, as you would imagine. It looks like let's have a look. It's going to hit 30 degrees on Bank Holiday Monday. I mean, if you like the sun, that's kind of good. And yeah, let's see if we can find any other good news. Let's go over to The Guardian. Let's have a look. Spinal Tap 2 is coming out. Apparently the new film Weapons is really good. It's a horror film. I'm going to go see that with Ben Chambers on Wednesday. We've got Wes Streeting being a gobshite. Yeah. I suppose that's not a good thing, but and No Place is Safe. Let's read that. And we've got Ukraine. That's not great. Oh, Noel Clarke judgment. This is Noel Clarke, actor who is a sex pest, and he tried to sue The Guardian for calling him a sex pest. Turns out he is a sex pest. So there you go. He claimed he was a victim. 26 witnesses painted a very different picture. And the High Court ruling in the libel case found that it was a load of bollocks, and good on The Guardian for going up against him. His libel defeat, a victory for the victims of his crimes and also for press reforms. And hopefully he'll never work in this town again. And yeah, there's lots of Americans who are leaving Trump's US for Europe, which is good for us. Because, clever people coming here. It can never be a bad thing. And yes, and we do the farmers. Let's have a look. How forests have shaped humanity from chocolate cravings to our ability to dream. Oh, and it's got a picture of an orangutan. Yeah, that could be good. That could be good. We could talk about that. Forests being awesome. Go for a walk in the forest. Britain used to be like, what was it, 99% covered in forest? Back in the day. And then we chopped all the trees down to burn like a bunch of idiots. Now we've got hardly any forests. I didn't think that when I'm traveling like across the North Pennines. It's like so barren. Can we put some trees there? There's some trees. I know some of it's like peat bogs and shit, but where it's not, let's go just plant some trees, please. Ice B00, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. Just more angry every day. I'm trans. My home is here. I cannot believe what has happened in the past 10 years, which is a short time in my life so far. Yeah, it absolutely beggars belief. And my heart goes out to everyone in the trans community who's had to put up with this bullshit. And I people go, oh, but it's and even Stephen Fry said this when he was talking about the fact that J.K. Rowling is fucking deranged. He said, but the reaction online was so aggressive, and it was like, but the people who reacted aggressively to her online were right. They were right. They accused her of transphobia in like 2019, right? When she reposted something from a transphobic commenter on X, on Twitter, right? That was in 2019, right? And people said straight away, you're a fucking transphobe. She was like, no. And then she wrote this essay in 2020 called Turf Wars or something, where she explained that she wasn't a transphobe, but if she was a transphobe, it was because her husband abused her. Her cisgender male husband abused her. And it's just like, again, going back to that thing of being a terrorist, which is you see a crime happening across the road and you go, that's unjust. I will need justice. I am going to do something now that will bring justice to me and my people for the crime that I just saw across the road, and you punch the person next to you on your side of the road. And you're like, ha, justice. Meanwhile, the person who's getting mugged on the other side of the road, they're still getting mugged. The person assaulting them is still assaulting them. But you know what? You've punched someone on your side of the road. You've done something. We've got to do something. Yeah, we're here to dig holes. It doesn't matter if you dig the hole in the wrong place. I think it does. I think it's going to take more time if you dig the hole in the wrong place. If you're going to dig a hole, dig it in the right fucking place. Dickheads. Anyway, Sean says, I was very, very wary of coming out gay, being told that you're now accepted. Yeah, I was thinking about that today. They are about to come for the gays, no pun intended. I think so. I mean, I think what happened was in 2013 in the UK, we had the Marriage Equality Act. And when that happened, things changed massively for gay couples who, and I know up to that point you could get a civil partnership, but it changed a lot of things in terms of acceptance of gay people and people who have two dads or two mums, and it was fine, and obviously trans people were part of that. Trans people were always part of the LGBT community, way back to the Stonewall riots, led by a trans woman. Like the idea that you can separate the T from the LGB is an absolute fucking nonsense. But then a couple of years later, in the same way that these scumbags, these rich, puritanical, fucking evangelical gobshites, decided in after they had lost the war against alcohol in America and prohibition sort of ended in the 1930s. What started in the 1930s is the war on drugs. I know that it wasn't called the war on drugs till the 1970s, but movies like Reefer Madness, in which people smoked some weed and then went out and committed crimes, were commonplace almost. Where it became a part of American culture that drugs were bad and McKay, and they've done the same thing here with and in America against trans people, where they've gone, we've lost the war against being homophobic, that's badly put. We've lost our war against gay people. Because they can now get married and they're socially accepted. And you look at the British Attitude Survey, it's gone from only 10% in the 1980s saying there was nothing wrong with being gay to 90% today saying there's nothing wrong with being gay. And they were like, oh, fuck. And in the same way that they turned their guns away from alcohol because they knew they couldn't win that battle anymore and moved it towards drugs, the battle of which is still being waged for some fucking reason. The same gruesome bastards, they're probably still alive because they drink unicorn blood or something, have pivoted from hating on gay people in general to specifically targeting trans people. And they've done it on purpose because they need a villain. They need an antagonist. They need a problem in society that will never be solved because there will always be trans people. And also because it's not a problem. That's why it'll never be solved, really, because it's not a problem, except to these very, very small-minded, bigoty bastards. But I will say that I've noticed a big shift this year, especially since the judgment from this dickhead judgment from the Supreme Court. They're like, this won't affect trans people at all. They will continue to live their lives as they could, as they have up to this point. Bullshit, you mealy-mouthed motherfucker. Absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. But since then, I've seen a lot more people who have been quiet on this issue over the years, actually speaking out about it on social media. So that's good. But what's worrying is that I think that this war on trans people is something other than something driven by a misfiring of the religion gene or something. Can I just thank Andrew Ray here for the £10 super chat? That's very kind of you. Graham, have you considered the Tory comms site bites that headlines the newspapers have on public at the QQ waiting to pay for food? I think they affected every election and referendum without selling. I don't know what they were, mate. The Tory comms site bites. What a site that headlines of newspapers have on public. Oh, you mean the fact that the newspaper owners and the newspaper editors and the newspaper fucking writers all went to the same school as the politicians, the Tory MPs that they still mates with, still play, I don't know, what posh games like polo or something with. Yeah. I guess so. But yeah, just to go back onto why trans people have been targeted, I think there's a bigger plan in place here, which goes back to just before Brexit. I think in 2015, billionaires got together with the Russians and they were like, we need to separate Britain from Europe and we need to separate America from Europe. How do we go about doing that? And they started with Brexit and Trump, which have done loads of, done a lot of progress in splitting us in so many ways, politically, economically, culturally, from our own continent. And then with Trump in America being isolationist and being America first and all that bullshit, that's worked there as well. So Brexit was a first step for us, for these ghouls, and they won. They won there, and then they won in the 2019 election. And then they are using, I think, trans people as a Trojan horse because they knew that they could manipulate the courts in such a way to interpret the wording of the 2010 Equality Act in such a way that discriminates openly against trans people. And then once it's gone from our Supreme Court, the only higher jurisdiction above that in terms of human rights law is the European Court of or Convention of Human Rights. And yeah, there's a lot of people, a lot of millionaires and billionaires who want us out of the ECHR. They want us out. They want us to not be part of that anymore. They want us to be like Russia and not part of that and be able to take away workers' rights, be able to take away the rights for people to have a family, the rights for people to just live and thrive in the communities that we grew up in. No, they're going to take that away from us all. And they're using trans people quite cynically. They're destroying the lives of trans people in order to get to their goal, which is to get us out of the European Court of Human Rights, because it'll go to the Court of Human Rights. The European Court of Human Rights will no doubt find that this discriminates against trans people, which it does, and they will strike down the decision by the Supreme Court that will give grist to the mill of the Tommy 10 names, Nigel Fucktage lot, and they will use that. They'll use that to as a battering ram to say, "Oh, we're being told what to do by a foreign court." That's what they'll say, even though it's not a foreign court. It is the jurisdiction is Europe. We are in Europe. It is not foreign. It has British people sitting on it, and we were the people who helped set it up back in the 1940s, sanctioned by Winston Churchill. He was like, "Yep, great idea. Do this thing. Do this thing." Can you mention the new constitution I added at you above? Okay, I'll try and find that. Oh, Vendetta. I'm scrolling. Gallifreyan man. No, I was asking for positive things going on. Vendetta. UK government have a consultation to shut down private trans healthcare in the UK. I've sent it to you on B-Sky. Fucking hell. They want to shut down private trans healthcare. This was the story in the Telegraph yesterday, wasn't it? Where they were like, "Oh, trans people are circumventing the system, and we need to stop this." Like, fucking hell. This is the same country that allows 16-year-olds to inject fucking toxins into their skin because they think they've got wrinkles. So if I go to B-Sky, honestly, I fucking hardly use this stuff. You must complete age assurance to assess this. Fuck me. Okay. So we got TERFs are being directed this consultation to try and shut down private healthcare for trans people. Okay, so I'm going to put the link in here. Thanks very much for pointing this out to me. There we go. Ha 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 ha. There you go, Vendetta. How are you today? Graham says, Sean. Oh, thanks very much for asking. I'm all right. I woke up a bit discombobulated. I can't believe it was. You mean you're like staring at the clock, and I don't know if you wear glasses, but I wear glasses, and you can't see it. It's like out of focus, and you're sort of squinting, and you're like, does that say? Because it could say 8 o'clock because it's quite similar to 9 o'clock. It's just one bit missing. So I'm 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock. It's all right. I've got an hour before my show. I normally wake up at 7 and have a couple of hours of getting shit together and reading news stories and things. So I'm kind of almost on top of what I'm talking about. Almost. But yeah, squinting at the clock like this. And then I'm like, I think that says 9 o'clock. I like grab my glasses from next to the bed and put them on. I'm like, it does say 9 o'clock. It was like exactly 9 o'clock. It wasn't 8:54, 8:59. It wasn't 9:01. It was literally 9 o'clock. I'm like, shit, that's what I was supposed to start my show. So yeah, a little bit discombobulated this morning, but thank you so much for asking, Sean. Yeah, I didn't have a particularly great week last week. It was really nice to go to Pride, but I was in Liverpool to look after my dad, who's not great at the moment, and yeah, and also attend a service to one of my friends who passed away from cancer a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, it's just when I talk about cancer and how it's affected, how things are affecting people and going to affect people and this like that. I don't really see it in the abstract, I see it as like a real thing. I lost my sister to cancer in 2011 and she died of cervical cancer, right? The rate to cervical cancer for 20-somethings now have gone off a cliff, have gone off an absolute cliff because of the HPV vaccination. And I know that if my sister had gone to school, 10, 20 years ago, she would have got that injection and she'll still be with us. I mean, you can't say for sure, but the probability is that she would still be with us and, still be having a laugh with her. And we're not. And that's because the medicine, the research into cancer hadn't quite got there when she needed it. And that's true for so many people who lose someone or, lose a family member or a dear friend to cancers that in 5, 10, 15 years' time, we might have a cure for. We might have a prevention. We might have a prophylactic that stops people from getting it in the first place. And the HPV vaccination doesn't just stop people getting forms of cervical cancer. It stops getting other forms of cancer as well. I mean, rarer forms of cancer, but cancer that still nonetheless can be deadly. And yeah, that is something that is a real positive. And anything that slows that down, it just means more suffering, more people dying needlessly, because we're slowing down research, which takes years anyway. I mean, this is already a very slow process because you've got to have a breakthrough, you've got to develop it. Maybe it works in mice, and then maybe it works in rabbits, and then you find out that you put it into a human, it doesn't quite work the way you thought it was going to. You got to do all that research, and you go back to the drawing board, etc., etc., etc. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure in 10 years' time there will be not necessarily a breakthrough, but evolution. A lot of stuff is evolution, I guess, to do with vascular dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ailments that affect multiple sclerosis, for instance. That has changed so much in the last 20 years. The treatment for it, 20 years ago, if you were diagnosed with MS, it was a death sentence, pretty much. You were very lucky. Whereas nowadays, for a lot of people who are diagnosed with MS, it can be managed. It can be managed. I mean, there's all different therapies depending on your own physiology, but it can be managed, and people can live till a ripe old age before it actually starts having the effects that were more immediate back in the day. And obviously, that's not for all MS sufferers, but we're not here for long. Every second counts. Every second counts, and I just hate that we're wasting time. We're wasting time on Trump. We're wasting time on Brexit. We're wasting time on Nigel Farage. These fuckers, these idiots, these morons who can't create anything. They'll never make a breakthrough with cancer research. They'll never create anything beautiful. They'll never, draw anything. They'll never write a great song. They'll never direct a great movie or write one or act in one. Home Alone 2 wasn't great. And all they know how to do is to destroy. That's all they know how to do, is to destroy. And it's really easy to destroy something, to destroy someone's life's work, and they get off on it. And that's just one person's life work. I mean, you're talking millions of people. They have destroyed their lives. I can genuinely claim that Nigel Farage derailed my career as a travel presenter. Loved doing travel presenting. It was honestly, I couldn't think of a better job and more suited to me. Going to new places, just talking about where I am, eating the food, having a good time, meeting people, having conversations, diving into the culture of another place where they speak different languages, where the cuisine is different, where the architecture is different, where there's different stories to tell, different histories. I'd love that. And realistically, I can't do that job now for the same reason that scientists aren't coming here. I can't afford it. I can't afford to be paying a work permit to work for a week in Cyprus or somewhere. I can't afford to pay that. Well, maybe if a production company who were doing the film and wanted me in particular to do this thing, great. But, there are other motor mouths out there, maybe not with quite as much travel knowledge as myself. But, there are people out there who can present quite eruditely to the camera. And you'll notice that, again, it sort of depresses me when I put the TV on and there's a travel show on and people ask me about watching travel shows. And, I loved Michael Palin growing up and Around the World in 80 Days. I'm a big fan of Monty Python and everything. But Michael Palin went to a private school. Okay? He was born posh. He was born rich. And obviously doors were open to him. He went to Cambridge. He was in the footlights. I think he went to Cambridge. He's one of them. Either that or Oxford. He's very much old school British sort of neo-aristocracy. And, I love the guy and I met him and he's a lovely, lovely guy. However, whenever I watch TV shows of travel people, it's him. or it's Joanna Lumley, or it's the funny guy from the It Crowd, Richard Avidiwala. Fuck, what's his name? Oh, bollocks, I forgot his name now. Richard from the IT Crowd and loads of other things. It's who else gets to make travel shows? I'm thinking about all the people that you see making travel shows on TV all went to private school. So maybe they can still afford to get the work permit to work in those countries if they should ever need to. Whereas the rest of us can't. We can't afford $5,000 for a job that's only going to pay us 500 quid. It's not worth it. Let's get someone from Ireland who's got like an Irish passport, or someone who's British who has an Irish passport. They can do the job instead of me. And the two times that I can think of, from the top of my head, of travel presenters who, Richard Romanesh. Isn't there a guy called Richard? I fucking can't remember anyone's name this morning. I should have all this written down. He went to private school as well. What's his name? Is anyone telling me what? I'm going to get these two guys. There's Richard from IT Crowd. Richard Ayoade. Oh, that's him. Right. And who's the other Richard? Richard Roman. What's his name? Raganathan. Romesh Raganation. Not Richard. What the fuck is wrong with me? Romesh Raganation. I love him as well. He's fucking brilliant. And he gets to do travel shows. And I'm like, cool. He gets to do travel shows. But he went to private school. And the only ones that I can think of who didn't go to private school are Carl Pinkerton, An Idiot Abroad. Thanks for that. And the guy who does holidays in the danger zone, Simon Reeves. He's very good. Is it Reeve or Reeves? I'm not sure. He's really good. And he went to state school as well. But he has to go on holiday to like Iraq and Somalia and stuff. It's North Korea. Andrew Ray, thank you for clarification there. I was talking about the newspapers being sold in the same place as Chocks and Sweets, right next to the cashier. Everyone gets to read the headlines while they wait. It's Tory comms, bites. Yes, yeah, you're absolutely right, Andrew. You are. And they get away with it. And Labour are doing nothing about it. Labour are doing absolutely nothing about making newspapers tell the truth, and they're not doing nothing to protect us from the lies on the internet. Absolutely nothing. Because they're stupid, dithery old bastards who don't seem to understand what the internet is. It's fucking embarrassing. Sean says, my mum thinks I'm obsessed with the privately educated, lol. Travel shows, we say, oh, we've paid for another holiday for a famous person. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And do you know what? I think it was really important for me when I was traveling to every country in the world to do it on a shoestring budget. Not because I had to, because I wasn't getting paid, but also because I wanted to show that you didn't have to be a Nepo baby in order to go and see these amazing places. You don't need to. I mean, you've got to be able to rough it, though. That's the secret. You got to be able to rough it. If you're up for that, then you can do anything, go anywhere. Dan Snow, another one, pure aristocracy. Yep, absolutely. Nothing is ever deleted from the internet, says Nubadoc. Yes, but it was deleted from the Facebook servers. The government asked Facebook for those adverts that it ran during the Brexit campaign, and Facebook said, no, we've deleted them. Whether they have been deleted or not, is another matter. I've got a copy of a load of them, which I keep because, keep an eye on it, sort of thing. But they lie to such a ridiculous degree. It's all a bit painful. It is all a bit painful. But yes. What else have we got here? I paid £1 a night in Bangkok, says Sean. Yeah, exactly. Remember the days. It's still cheap as chips. The most expensive bit of going somewhere was always the flight, I found. I mean, if you're not eating out every night at a fancy restaurant and you don't have kids, you don't have to drag kids along as well. Simon Reeves is a bit gender critical, says Jane White. Oh shit, is he? Like, he'll go fuck himself to unalivement then, can't he? Twat. Why do people have to be transphobic? Like, what does it matter to them? Like, were they bitten by a trans person when they were little, and that's why they have a phobia of trans people? Like, what happened? And what it is, it's just it's just the fact that some people do not want other people to live their lives that they feel comfortable with. It makes some people feel uncomfortable. Well, I'll tell you what, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, why don't you fuck off? Hey? Why don't you go and live some other country? Why don't you go and live in Antarctica where you don't have to worry about ever running into a trans person or a gay person or a person who's not white? Hey? How about that? How about... that'd be a great little short film, wouldn't it? Someone who goes and lives in Antarctica to get away from all of the immigrants. And they end up trapped in a little fucking research station with a trans woman, a Muslim, a black man, for the rest of their lives. That'd be brilliant. Trust me, you can't delete things from the internet. Just makes it a bit harder to find. Says Nubadoc. I disagree respectfully. I've written articles for the BBC which are not to be found, and I've got a friend who works at the archives of the BBC and said, "Can you bring up this article for me? Here is the name of the article. I wrote it. It was on this. This was the URL for it, the original URL, and he's had a look for me, and he can't find any of them because they were literally just taken off the BBC server, and that's the only place where they were. And the Wayback Machine only takes a picture if someone asks them to take a picture of the internet, I guess. And so, yeah, you can't always see what things used to look like. I'm all right. Jackism is part of the problem in post-Brexit Britain, says Nick Chat. Yes, it is. But the thing is, Nick, no one's all right. No one's doing all right. No one's doing as well as they could be. We could all be doing so much better if it wasn't for fucking Brexit, if it wasn't for the dickheads who've been in charge, and it wasn't for this Labour Party who seem to be absolutely doing, like, I don't know, they're not doing themselves a favour, and they're not doing me a favour either, I'll tell you that now. Internet Wayback. Yeah, go on the Wayback Machine. Go and have a look at it now and find every single iteration of every single website. It doesn't have it. It doesn't have it. In fact, especially when a website updates a lot and changes a lot, like Facebook, or even like a news page. So if I go to the Wayback Machine. Wayback Machine. Oh, do you know what? It's done that fucking thing in Google Chrome where I go, I want the Wayback Machine, and I click on the top thing, and it's instead of giving it says continue journey, and and it brings up a box at the side of the right. So I'll go to the Odyssey Expedition.com. Okay, so this is my old website. So just to show you this, right? Let's go disco. Don't know if this will work. There we go. Okay, so this is the Wayback Machine. These are my website has been saved 420 times since December to whenever, right? Now, to be fair, this website hasn't changed much. So let's see a snapshot of it from July the 26th. Click on that. Are you going to show me? Are you not going to show me? Are you going to be the worst? Why is it so slow? Right, so this is the way that my website looks, apparently. None of the pictures are coming up. Why are the pictures not coming up? Oh, they are. Oh, they're not. Oh, they are. Oh, there you go. There's me. Haha. Okay, my name is Graham Hughes, blah, 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 stamp on the... All right, so that's the way it looks now, right? It's looked like that for many, many years. But if I go back to 2009, when I started my journey, we've got January the 5th. This is the first snapshot. Actually, there's one from 2008. I'm going to have a look at the 2008 one. 25th. Hang on. This might be really embarrassing. This might be really shit. It's my first iteration of the website. Okay, so having a look at this, Monday, January the 26th, 2009 is the date at the top here. And there's a picture of me holding my camera, and it says only 3 nations left to go. I mean, okay, so just to explain, and Adobe Flash Player is no longer supported. Just to explain that that thing about there being only 3 nations left to go, that's not the case on January the 26th, 2009. That wasn't the case at all. There were actually, at this point of the journey, there were 190 countries left to go because I just started the journey. I'd literally just started it. So that's wrong. But yeah, I've got the news from the Caribbean here. Slapping Pete Doherty is one of the names of the things. But yeah, just to show that, and then I'll go to what it looked like at the end of the journey. There were so many iterations of it; they won't all be there. They've got quite a lot of snapshots though, which is nice. They got a load from like years when I wasn't even updating the site because it kind of it finished in 2013. Let's have a look. Are you going to take me to this, or are you just going to think, oh, you got to click on that, don't you? So December the 20th. Let's have a look what snapshot it got. So that's quite interesting that the banner at the top here says only 3 nations left to go. I think the reason why is that pulled from a place where that was the URL for that picture. I changed the picture but kept the same URL. And there you go. This is really cool. Oh, this is making me miss my journey. But there you go. Colouring in map. Please wait. Countries visited requires Flash. Remember Flash? Don't build websites on Flash anymore. There you go. Where am I? Oh wow! Look at all the countries. Wow, they're all the countries you can click on to read what I had to say about them. Cool. This was really cool stuff. Can I go to where can I go to? Can I go to like my interactive GPS route map? Will this still exist? Will it? Be warned. 100,000 waypoints. It can take a while to render. Well, there you go. And then someone saying, what I've done is a waste of time. Oh, cool. I'm glad that I'm wasting my time and not wasting anybody else's. God, critics, eh? Critics. So while I've got a bunch of stuff there I've got a bunch of snapshots of my website, it changed every single day. Every single day that I was traveling, it got new blogs put on it and new bits and pieces and new pictures and stuff like that. And a lot of those iterations between the ones that were saved in the Wayback Machine, those versions of that website are no longer there. It was a website that literally changed every single day of the year, and there's only 5 or 6 snapshots of it throughout the year. So obviously it's not going to look as it did back then. Also, Flash doesn't work anymore, so that's gone. It's just literally gone. Fucking hell, I can't tell you how long it took to make that fucking map. That was the genuine map because I had a tracker with me, right? GPS tracker. And I had to take the data off that. And then I had to make it using, what was it called? Map Visualizer or something online. I think it's still around. You can still use it. But I had to put the data in. And it would only allow so many waypoints as that part of the map. And then I had to sort of overlay that into a big notepad file that had no mistakes in it. And then put that into... put that in, and it would actually create a map, and you could zoom right in. You could see the streets that I walked down because it took my position every 15 seconds. So it was kind of crazy. It was kind of cray. But you could actually see where I'd crossed the borders and where I'd gone over bridges and where I'd got to jump the train and stuff. Quite fun. Like Nick says, specifically those seeking I'm all right, Jack, fixes Brexit, e.g. Irish passports. The more people who do that, the less pressure is exerted on UK politicians to undo hard Brexit. Yeah, but you're right. You're absolutely right. But at the same time, I don't see what else we can do. Genuinely, for if this is our lives, and as altruistic as I want to be, I think it's shit that I have to sacrifice my career and what I wanted to do with my life, and the way that's available to me to get back on that horse, I shouldn't take, because it means that the rest of the country, it'll take longer for them to get back into the EU. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, who am I? I'm not, I'm not a fucking multi-millionaire. I'm not someone with actual power to change the political consensus of the country. And those people who are millionaires, who were anti-Brexit, where the fuck were they? Where was Jeremy Clarkson? That twat. He's got, he gobs off about fucking everything. He's got an opinion on everything, hasn't he? But like when it came to Brexit, he disagreed with it, but he's very quiet about it. He didn't turn up to any marches or any rallies. He didn't go on the TV saying this is a load of shit and people have been lied to. People would have listened to him. People on the right would have listened to him. But he chose to stay silent instead. And I think that's, I don't know. Individual responsibility goes up, I think, when you have more power and you have more money. When you don't have power and money, I'm not going to give people shit for pushing to get a Irish passport if they can, if they voted to remain. If they voted for Brexit, Nick, then they can fuck off. Then they can fuck the fuck off forever. The fucking pieces of shit motherfuckers. I have nothing to say nice about them. I think they are the worst of the worst. And if I'm my way, big trebuchet, launch into the sun. Brexit will not be reversed until all political parties that can be elected to power agree the EU is a good thing. This will take decades, so you can fix your problem now, do so. That's the way I kind of feel about it, Joanna. However, I will stick with my guns when I say if you voted for Brexit and you're now applying for an Irish passport so you can enjoy the benefits of being a member of the EU, you can honestly go F yourself to unalivement as far as I'm concerned. South Sudan trip. Them are the days. What a goal. No, but apparently I was wasting my time. What a waste of time. I think what you're doing is a waste of time. Fucking trolls. Roger saying Clarkson will say what fits with his fan base. It's pretty much the same thing as taking an Irish passport for your career. He's looking after his income. I'm no Clarkson fan, by the way. Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. He's a fucking scumbag, isn't he? Privately educated, of course. Martin says 100%. Joanna, that's why I got an Irish passport as soon as I could after the vote for my sons more than me. Yeah, I've got to clean out Hammy's. One sticky girl is using her sand bath as a toilet. The sand and pee really stinks. Says L. Thanks for sharing. Glad I don't have to smell that. Listen, we're going to leave it at that. I suppose we talked a little bit today about the fact that people are coming over here to work as scientists in this country. So that can be the topic of the day, because that's what we talked about for a little bit. So thanks very much to Well Angry Pagan for suggesting that. Thanks very much to everyone who's dropped a super chat in. Really appreciate it. I should be back this evening with Stateside at 9:00. We will see. I haven't organised anything, and it is a bank holiday, so don't bet the farm on it. But tomorrow morning, hopefully, I will be back 9:00, bright and early. It is going to be a normal work day, so I don't think Kat can wake up without waking me up as well. So yes, I would. I'd say please be back here at least 9:00 tomorrow morning for a little bit more morning brew. And it's been great talking to you this morning. Sorry that I'd like more good news to impart. Maybe it's just I'd do a good news show at some point where we could just talk about all the good stuff that's happening. And to my trans friends out there, I'm so sorry. I'm genuinely fucking heartbroken at the way that this country has gone. I thought that Labour would be better, and they've actually turned out for trans people, and they've actually turned out to be worse for trans people. The glimmer of hope that I'm seeing at the moment is that more people are talking about it, and more people are bringing it up and making it an issue than ever before. I see more people who are, left leaning on YouTube, on Facebook, even on Twitter, whatever it's called these days. I can see people. I can see a change. And I think that's really welcome and important, because it shows that although the forces of evil are swirling around quite heavily at the moment, there are people who want the best for everyone, who want the best for society, and want the best for trans people, trans children, our trans brothers and sisters. And and going to Pride on Saturday, it was made very clear that trans people are here. They always will be here, and they're not going away. That's it. No matter how much grief and shit the horrible anti-trans bastards like Rowling and Trump and Putin, the disgusting bile that they ejaculate from their disgusting malformed mouths. Trans people will always be here. trans people will outlast the bigotry. They absolutely will. And I'm so sorry it's shit right now. And I'm glad that we've got this community here where we've got a lot of people who watch this who are trans. And I'm glad that we're a safe space where we can talk about it and there's no one being a fucking troll in the chat. I'm happy with the community that we've built here. So thank you for sticking with the channel, even though I might fuck up now and again, and other people on the channel might fuck up now and again. Just know that this is a safe space for trans people, and you have our love and respect, and you deserve to be able to live your life how you want to. You're not fucking hurting anyone. That's the ultimate thing. It's like we go after people who don't hurt anyone in pursuit of people who do. And it's like, how does that work? How the fuck does that work? J.K. Rowling, abused by her cisgender husband. Turn that into transphobia. Unbelievable. Anyway, so yeah, tomorrow morning I'll be back at 9 o'clock. Hopefully I'll do a stateside tonight, but we'll see. I'm not organised anything yet, so we'll have to wait and see if that actually goes ahead. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. And until I see you again, give me a quick like, or give the channel a like, I should say. That would be excellently awesome if you would do that. And hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.